Well, it's a quiet Saturday afternoon in harbour. The gale's blown itself out and I'm at a good lunch, and I thought I'd have a little chat with you now about the realities of cruising yacht navigation and the way it actually goes on in my life. I've written enough books about it, and it's developed as the years have gone on, and instrumentation has improved, and things aren't quite the same as they used to be, and I thought I'd show you my chart table and how I work it. So here we go. What have we got? Well, first point of interest is that this is an enormous chart table. Look at the size of it. I can hardly reach the back of it. Now, this boat's American. She was built in America about 30 years ago, and American charts are enormous. So American yachts at that era tended to have great big chart tables, and I absolutely love that. I hate mingy little chart tables because I like to use paper charts. I use electronic charts as well, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the thing is, if I'm going to use a paper chart, I want room to spread it out. I've got nice little handy ones here. These are charts of where I am at the moment. They come in little packs, and they're fine. I could get half a dozen of these if I wanted on the table. But sometimes I want to spread out an Admiralty chart and see what I've really got, and I've got room to do that here. And it's very, very reassuring. It takes a lot of stress away from you, actually, if you're trying to plot on a chart and you're not going across folds all the time and everything. So, what have we got? Well, we've got the paper chart, and we've got the paper logbook. The paper logbook. This one is open at the moment on a navigation page. Where are we? Yeah, here we go. All the relevant columns set out here, the ones I've chosen. And when I get into harbour, where I am now, it becomes a sort of scrapbook. And visitors to the boat write in it. They write poems, or they write rude remarks, or they put pictures of their ship in. And it's great fun because I can look back over that and see what I've got. So we'll put the logbook out of the way now and think more about the navigation again. Although the logbook, of course, is the core of navigation, because if everything goes to rubbish, I know where I am from my logbook. All I have to do is put a position on my paper chart and away I go, navigating in the old-fashioned way. However, the paper chart's all very well, but every time I want to know where I am on it, I have to plot a position and taking compass bearings and things. I can't be bothered with all that now. I don't have to do that anymore because I've got my plotter here, which I bought from Crooks and Gatehouse, and I'm extremely happy with. It's just great because it augments the paper chart. They work together, and they're a perfect combination, really. I mean, I'm looking at the plotter here, and I can see my boat. Here I am, look. I can see where I am in the harbour. It's spot on. There's no datum shift, no mucking about. It's absolutely perfect. But when I want to see where I'm going tomorrow, first thing I do, generally speaking, is have a look at my paper chart, get my dividers out, see how far it's likely to be. It's so much quicker to do that on a paper chart than zooming and panning around on an electronic chart. Also, a good paper chart will show you any dangers straight away, which they're all on the electronic chart, but sometimes you have to zoom a lot to find them, and it's not always convenient to do that. So go with them both. And then I can have a look at my paper chart, my electronic chart, zoom it out, compare it with the paper chart. There's an area here which looks as if it might be a bit interesting, so I just put my cursor on there, zoom in, and I get a wonderful picture of exactly what there is and how much water there is. So the two working together is a magical combination for safety and ease of operation. I just love it. And of course, the plotter does radar and AIS and everything else you can think of, so that's brilliant. Can't believe my luck, really. So what else have I got in my wonderful chart table? Well, on this side here, let's just spin around and have a look at it. We've got my clock. I like that clock. It's a wind-up clock. I bought it in a junk shop. It's a proper marine clock. Cost me 70 quid and well spent too. All you do is wind it up once a week and it tells the time. It might lose a minute or two a week, that's all. Wouldn't be any good for astronavigation, but it's perfect for keeping ship's time so that all on board know exactly what time it is, and that's the time that goes in the logbook. And it ticks. So on a quiet night when you're in harbour, you can hear it ticking your life away. I love that. I love a clock that ticks. The electronic ones don't. They're all right. They keep great time, but there's no soul to them. We need a bit of soul in our lives. And here's the next thing, the barometer. That is the absolute watchword of the sailor. If you haven't got a decent barometer, get yourself out and buy one today. Because just 3 days ago, I was in a harbour down the way here, and one of my weather forecasts, like the rest of us, I get 2 or 3 weather forecasts, and it's always tempting to choose the one you like, isn't it? But what you've got to do is assess them all. And I like the look of one of them. It said it was going to blow force 6. Well, I was going to stay in harbour. I didn't want to be out in that particularly. I didn't have to be, so why bother? But another one said it was going to blow 40 knots. And which one are you going to believe? Well, it's tempting to just say be an optimist and say force 6, but you have to prepare for the worst. While I was making my mind up, I noticed that the barometer had gone down 20 points, overnight, and a little bit more. And it had stuck 20 points below where it was when I came in. As I tapped it, it shot up about 3 points. Well, that's all you need to know. Sharp rise after low, stronger blow. The barometer told me the truth. And actually, by the time the 40 knots had blown in the following morning, it had gone up another 20 points and it was back where it started. It was like a seesaw. The barometer is what you need. Sitting beside the barometer to keep an eye on things and make sure I don't get up to mischief is Lord Nelson. I've had this picture of Lord Nelson for many, many years. It was given to me when my daughter was about 6 years old, and she liked the way I used to go on about Nelson, and I was particularly tickled by a quote from Lord Hamilton, the husband of Emma Hamilton, Nelson's mistress. And such was the magnetism of Nelson that even this man, who had been done wrong by Nelson in his own house, he admired him so much that when he died, he bequeathed his favourite portrait of Emma to Nelson, my most loyal friend, he said. And then he said, "May God bless him, and shame fall on those who do not say amen." Well, I was tickled by that, and I was talking about it. My daughter overheard it, and she wrote it down in a little thing, and she put it under the picture, and she framed it and gave it to me for my birthday. And I've had it by me ever since. I love it. It reminds me of my daughter. It reminds me of Nelson and my duties, and it reminds me that it isn't always the man who is good in this world's judgment who excites the loyalty of his fellows. When you look at this, do you think, what on earth is that doing in his chart table? Well, I'll tell you. That is a hanging. It's a weaving, proper job weaving. I bought that in Bergen in Norway in 1983. I was outward bound for Iceland and Greenland, and I saw it in a shop. It cost 35 quid. I thought, I can't afford that. What am I doing spending money on that? But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I had to have it. So I bought it and I hung it up on the bulkhead of my old boat that I had in those days. I've had it on my boats ever since. And look what it does now. You see, behind here is my switchboard. Come on, that's it. My switchboard. Now, everybody has a switchboard on a big yacht, and that's mine. And I think it's not very pretty. It's white. I don't like looking at that. I mean, it tells me what I want to know. Look, here's my AIS. Might as well put that on, and all the rest of the stuff. All my shore-based powers here. I've got my shore-based, my generator. Everything's on here. My fuel tanks. Everything you want to know, really. And when I'm at sea, I take this away so I can see my instruments. My wife would like me to leave it up even at sea because she just hates this switch panel. But, you know, you've got to have it. And it does its job very, very well. But we like to cover it in harbour because nobody needs to see a switch paddle in harbour. What do you want to see that for? Except very occasionally to see if your shore power's working. So there it is. It's found its new function. So that's a bit of a human touch, isn't it? So I'm surrounded by humanity, things that make me what I am, and we should all do that. Don't forget who you are in amongst all the technicalities of the paper chart, the marvellous plotter from Brooks and Gatehouse that does everything I can possibly imagine and things that I can't imagine it'll do for me. I've got my handheld VHF here, and I've also got my little star planner so that when I'm out in deep water and I want to take a star sight, I can have a quick look and see what I'm likely to find. Isn't navigating a wonderful thing? And what a great thing to be alive under the heaven and on a decent boat.